Hey there, today we have the iPhone 14 Pro in deep purple. Let's take a quick look. I've been testing it for about 4 days or so now, so I can let you know some of my initial impressions with it. One of the first few things I noticed about the body, fingerprint magnet. Also, the lenses are so much bigger. I was honestly a bit worried I might scratch it or dirty it. The purple is definitely more noticeable in daylight. The back has more of a matte finish and the sides have a very glossy finish, which unfortunately is a big fingerprint magnet. Dust is also very visible in the lens area often. As you can see, it still comes with a physical SIM card slot if you're living outside of the US. Just a quick color reference for you guys. The always on feature comes already enabled. This is when the display is active, and after a few seconds, leaving it alone, it just goes off into a lower powered state. As you can see, it's still pretty bright. At this stage, I'm not sure exactly how much extra battery it's consuming, but I do feel like it's draining a bit faster than my previous phone. This is the always on display. For some reason, on camera it looks darker than it is in person, but you can definitely read it, even in the sunlight. Tapping the screen on, and I can see it's at full brightness. I wasn't able to capture it on camera properly, but the screen is very much legible even in harsh sunlight. Here are both of the phones at max brightness in the sunlight, and after some time, that one goes off and this one just dims to the always on display, but still very legible. Something to bear in mind, while I had this in the sun for about 2 minutes or so, it did get fairly hot. I suspect that's due to the max brightness. Not too big of a deal though. After about 1 or 2 minutes, it cooled down easily. Turning on the display, you can now see the new dynamic island. So when you play music and minimize, there's that smooth transition over there. You long press on it to give you that quick view, or alternatively, if you just tap on it, it'll expand and open up the app. A lot of you were concerned about the dynamic island and it not looking as good as it was in Apple's keynote. Let me just say, it still looks amazing. In most normal lighting conditions, you won't even notice it. Only in the harsher daylight will you really see it, and even then, I think it still looks elegant. This is how it looks like in normal brightness, and only if you go in really harsh brighting conditions, that's when you really notice the individual components. Now I'm sure you guys are very excited to find out more about the camera, so we now have more focal length options open. This one here is the ultra wide at 0.5x, then switching over to 1x, 2x and 3x. This one is the main camera. If you want the highest quality, go with this one. So now just something to be aware of. When you're on this mode and you have RAW turned off, it will take the image at 48 megapixels and then compress it a bit down and save it as a 12 megapixel image. If you want to retain that 48 megapixel count, turn on RAW. Let's have a quick look at some of the photos I've taken. This is by no means a comprehensive test, and I haven't had a chance to test out its full limits yet. I haven't been able to do any night photography. In terms of camera quality, I found it very similar to the 12 Pro, especially in good lighting conditions where there's plenty of natural light. Where I suspect this new one will shine is mainly in night photography due to the larger sensor. The new phones have these photographic styles: standard, rich contrast, vibrant, warm and cool. I've left it on the standard one just for me to test it out, but I suspect most of you guys will use rich contrast or vibrant so that it brings out the color. In terms of accessories, I got the leather MagSafe case from Apple. It's a very snug fit and you get that nice animation when you plug in the case. If you're interested in the MagSafe wallets, they are all the same as the previous generation, just available in some new colors. I opted for the trade-in program, and for my old 12 Pro, Apple estimated about $650 trade-in value. If you're curious on how that works, I'll do a separate video on that. Personally, what I love most about this one is the screen. The display is definitely much brighter, much more vibrant and colorful, and it just brings a whole new life to your phone. So even when looking at old photos and everyday apps, everything just seems to pop a bit more. The camera definitely seems like an improvement. Obviously, it'll still need much more testing, and I feel like that added display makes your photos look better. And I'm not sure if the display is contributing to me liking the photos better. We'll need to take the photos on a different device and compare them separately so that we're not biased. One aspect about this phone which leaves me a bit conflicted is the battery. It appears to be draining a bit faster than my previous one, which was the 12 Pro. Nonetheless, it still lasts a fairly long time. I just feel it drains a bit faster than I expected. If that's something you're concerned about, feel free to turn off the always on display. But a lot of other reviewers out there have seen very little impact to battery life. So you can decide for yourself whether you want to leave it on or turn it off. Now lastly, should you upgrade? If you've got the XS or below, I'd say the upgrades are worth it, especially if you're looking for a good camera. But if you've got anything more recent, the case for upgrade becomes less strong. Are you buying any of the new phones? Let me know.